My girlfriend texted, "Stop checking on me or we're over." I replied, "Okay." Then I met real love. She claimed it was a joke seconds later, but I was already boxing her stuff. Then the flying monkeys and a surprise job visit hit, right as I started dating someone calm. Original post: I'm Ethan, 33, and I work at a physical therapy clinic in Charlotte, North Carolina. Brielle is 29 and does social media for a few local businesses. We'd been together 3 years, and she moved into my townhouse about 8 months ago. The lease and utilities were in my name because I'd lived there before we met. At the beginning, living together felt like winning. I'd come home and she'd be on the couch in one of my hoodies, telling me about a client who wanted more sparkle in a post or some influencer drama I didn't understand. We'd cook, laugh, fall asleep to the TV. Normal couple stuff. Then, somewhere around month 4, Brielle started treating basic relationship questions like an interrogation. If I asked, "What time do you think you'll be home?" she'd roll her eyes and say, "Why are you tracking me?" If I texted, "Hey, did you get there okay?" she'd reply, "You're being dramatic." And if I did nothing, if I just sat there and waited, she'd come home and act like I was distant, like I didn't care. It was a lose-lose loop, and she controlled the rules. Her favorite label for me was needy. She said it with that little laugh like she was teasing, but it always landed like a slap. The more I tried to be calm, the more she escalated. She'd disappear for hours, then show up at midnight like nothing happened. If I said anything, she'd hit me with a sigh and the same line, "You're doing too much." The wild part is, I wasn't doing too much. I had patience all day. I couldn't sit on my phone. I'd send one text around lunch and one when I was leaving work. That was it. But Brielle liked the story that I was clingy because it meant she never had to explain why she was unreachable. The week it finally snapped, she'd been extra cold. Short replies. One-word answers. She'd forget plans and then blame my tone when I brought it up. I remember standing in the kitchen on Sunday night, asking if we were still going to dinner with my sister, and Brielle just said, "Stop trying to manage my life, Ethan." I didn't raise my voice. I just said, "I'm not managing you, I'm trying to coordinate." She smirked like coordinating was a weakness. Monday was heavy at the clinic. Back-to-back appointments, a last-minute eval, paperwork stacked like a second job. By the time my last patient left, it was almost 7. I was sitting in my office finishing notes when my phone buzzed. "Brielle, stop checking on me or we're over." No context, no argument on screen, just an ultimatum like she was flicking a switch. I stared at it for a second, felt that familiar tightness in my chest and then something else underneath it. Relief. Because if she wanted to leave, fine. But I wasn't going to beg someone to stay who kept punishing me for caring. I typed back, "Ethan, okay, we're over." Sent. Then I took a screenshot. Time-stamp, her name, everything. Saved it. Because I knew what was coming next, the rewrite, the denial, the blame. By the time I got to my car, I had a stack of missed calls and a waterfall of texts. "Pick up. I was joking. You're being crazy. Ethan, please." I didn't mean it like that. I didn't respond. I drove home in silence. No radio. Just streetlights and that calm that shows up when you finally stop negotiating. Her car wasn't in the driveway. She'd said she was going for drinks with Kayla, so I had time. I grabbed 3 storage bins from the garage and started packing Brielle's things, neatly. Clothes first, toiletries, makeup, shoes, the decorative stuff she'd taken over the kitchen with, the ring light she left in the hallway. Anything that was clearly hers went into a bin. Anything I'd bought stayed. By 9:30, her stuff was stacked by the front door. I took a photo. Then I wrote a note and set it on top. "You set the terms. I accepted them. Text me tomorrow to coordinate pickup." No speeches, no insults, just a clean ending. I brushed my teeth, got into bed, and slept better than I had in months. The next day, Kayla texted me from an unknown number. "Kayla, Brielle is a mess. Can you just talk to her?" I replied once, "Ethan." She texted, "We were over." I agreed. That's it. Around lunchtime, Brielle switched tactics and started calling me from blocked numbers. I let them ring, Then she sent a long text that tried to sound reasonable. "Brielle, I was having a bad moment. You know how I get. Can we please just talk tonight?" I didn't answer. At 4:52 p.m., my doorbell camera pinged. Brielle was on my porch. She still had a key. I watched her unlock my door and walk in like nothing happened. She wasn't there to grab her stuff. She was there to prove she still could. When I got home, a few of the bins had been moved, not emptied, just shifted. Like she wanted me to notice and react. The note was crumpled on the counter. There was also a new note in her handwriting, "You can't just throw me away." That's when I stopped hoping for mature and started planning for secure. I drove to a locksmith. 2 hours later, new locks, new keys, $185 receipt. Brielle's texts flipped from apology to accusation in a heartbeat. "You can't evict me. You're heartless. This was a joke. You're punishing me." I replied with one sentence, "Ethan, you moved out when you texted we were over." Then I stopped engaging. Update 1: 4 days later, 4 days after the breakup text, the flying monkeys arrived. Kayla again. Then Tara, a friend of hers I barely knew. Then Devin, a guy I'd met once at a party. "Devin, Brielle says you kicked her out with nowhere to go." I didn't argue, I didn't explain, I sent one screenshot. Her ultimatum, my reply, time-stamp visible. "Devin, oh, she didn't say that part." Exactly. Tara tried the softer angle. "Tara, she loves you. You guys just need to communicate." I answered, "Ethan, communication isn't threatening to leave when you're irritated." Then I blocked her. Brielle started posting vague stuff online, quotes about betrayal. "Some people only love you when you're convenient." No names, but everyone knew who she meant. A couple mutual friends liked it. That stung more than it should have, but it also confirmed something. People will comfort the loudest story, even when it's false. 2 days later, my sister Kelsey called. "Kelsey," Brielle messaged Mom. "She's saying you locked her out and she's scared." That was my unexpected ally. My mom does not play. Mom got on the phone and said, "Ethan, did you threaten her?" "No." "Did you touch her stuff?" I packed it neatly. "She told me we were over." Mom paused. Then, in the calmest voice, she said, "Good. Don't let her turn this into a circus. Save everything. If she shows up, call me before you call her." That night, Brielle showed up at my door with a boutique gift bag in her hand like she was bringing peace offerings. I didn't open the door. I watched through the camera. She rang the bell, knocked, then leaned toward the door and said, loud and clear, "I can hear you in there." My stomach turned. That wasn't love, that was control. I opened the door 2 inches with the chain still on. "What do you want, Brielle?" Her eyes were shiny like she'd practiced. She lifted the bag. "I brought you something. For us." "There is no us." Her face twitched. "So you're really throwing 3 years away over a joke. You told me to stop checking on you or we were over. So we're over." She switched to anger like flipping a light. "You always do this. You always overreact." I kept my voice flat. "This is you getting consequences." She stared like consequences were cruelty. Then she turned and left. The next morning, my property manager emailed me. "Hi, Ethan. A tenant reported being locked out. Please call." Brielle had tried to go around me. I called the manager, explained the situation, and offered to forward the screenshot and the fact the lease was in my name only. 10 minutes later, he replied, "Thanks for clarifying. We'll note it on file." Again, boring beats chaos. After that, I started writing everything down. Dates, times, screenshots, doorbell clips, a folder on my phone called Brielle, and inside it a timeline, calm documentation, the stuff that keeps you safe. Update 2: about 3 weeks later, at about 3 weeks, Brielle stopped trying to look sweet and started trying to look right. First came the money play. Cash App, Brielle requested $412. Memo, utilities plus groceries. I declined and wrote, "We're settled." 10 minutes later, another request. Declined again. Then she tried a fake crisis. At 2:14 a.m., my phone buzzed from an unknown number. "Unknown, Brielle is at the ER. She's asking for you." I sat up in bed, heart pounding. Then I remembered screenshots, patterns, control. I replied once, "Ethan, which hospital?" No answer. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Finally, a text popped in. Unknown, never mind, she's fine, thanks a lot. I stared at my screen in the dark and felt something snap into place. That wasn't panic, that was a trap. The next day, Brielle left me a voicemail from a new number. Her voice was suddenly soft. I just need closure, Ethan. Please, I'm not trying to fight. An hour later, same number, different tone. If you don't call me back, I'll tell people you did worse than you did. So yes, she said the quiet part out loud. A mutual friend texted, "Hey, just checking, Brielle says you locked her out with nowhere to go." I sent the screenshot, same as before. Her ultimatum. My reply. Mutual friend, wow, okay, that's not what she said. That's the pattern, I wrote back. And left it there. Then she showed up at my workplace. My receptionist, Megan, poked her head into the treatment area. "Ethan, there's a woman here saying she's your girlfriend." I walked to the waiting room and saw Brielle sitting there like she had an appointment. Perfect hair, phone in hand, smile ready. She even had coffee like she'd come to make my day. "Brielle, you can't be here," she stood fast. "I just need 2 minutes, please." "No," her voice dropped. "You're humiliating me." "No, you did that when you came here." Her eyes flashed. She leaned in and whispered, "If you don't talk to me, I'll tell everyone what you're really like." I nodded once and turned to Megan. "Can you call building security?" She hissed, "Don't be dramatic." Security escorted her out. The building filed an incident report and marked her as no trespass. I took a photo of the paperwork for my records. That evening, Brielle emailed my work address. Not mine, my workplace one. Subject urgent, she wrote, "I need to talk to Ethan immediately and I am his partner." She was trying to force my clinic into it. My supervisor pulled me aside. She didn't look angry, she looked concerned. "Ethan, are you safe?" I showed her the screenshot and the timeline folder. Calm, simple. She nodded once. "We'll block her email. If she comes back, we call security and we document it. Support." Again. Quiet support. 2 days later, she tried the accidental run-in at Freedom Park, our old Sunday walking spot. She was waiting near the trail map in my old gray hoodie like it was a costume. "Ethan, what are you doing here? I thought we could talk like adults." "Adults don't threaten someone at their job." Her face tightened. "I miss you." For a split second, I missed the version of her from the beginning. Then I remembered the real version, the one who needed an audience and a leash. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. "This is Denise, Brielle's mom. Please call me." I looked at Brielle and realized she'd pulled her mom into it too. "Tell your mom I'm not calling." "Have a good walk, Brielle." Then I walked past her. That same week, something small but important happened. I met Noel. My coworker Mason dragged me to a volunteer event on a Saturday morning. Dogs, donations, normal people energy. Noel was there helping, laughing at a dog that kept trying to climb her like a ladder. We talked for 10 minutes and it felt easy. We exchanged numbers, and when I texted her later, she texted back. No games, no silence, just normal. We grabbed coffee the next weekend, then dinner. On that first date, she asked me what I did for work, and when I talked about my day, she actually listened. No eye rolls. "No, you're doing too much, just interest." On the drive home, I realized my shoulders were down. I wasn't bracing for a mood swing. I wasn't rehearsing my words. It felt like an exhale. Final update: about 2 months after the text, Brielle's last serious attempt came about 6 weeks after her ultimatum. She sent another email. Subject line: closure. It started with "I miss you" and ended with "you always overreact." Apology, then blame in the same breath. She wanted me to respond so she could keep the argument alive. I forwarded it to my cousin Reed, a paralegal, and asked what the cleanest next step was. Reed said, "Keep it boring. Keep it documented." So we sent a simple cease and desist letter, 1 page, certified mail. No drama, just boundaries: do not contact me, do not come to my home, do not come to my workplace. Further contact will be treated as harassment. I also filed a police report, not because I wanted sirens, but because I wanted a record. 2 days after the letter arrived, Denise called from a blocked number. I answered once. "Ethan, this is Denise." Brielle says you've been cruel, that you locked her out, and Denise, she texted me, stop checking on me or we're over. I replied, okay, we're over. Silence. Then she said that. Yes, I have the screenshot. Denise exhaled, like a parent realizing they've been sold a story again. I'm sorry, she told me something else. I'll talk to her. Please take care of yourself. That was the last call. After the certified letter, the contact stopped. No more unknown numbers. No more workplace surprises. No more porch speeches. Meanwhile, my life kept getting quieter in a good way. Noel and I kept seeing each other. Slow dinners. Weekend coffee. Easy conversations where nobody was keeping score. One night she asked, gently, do you want to tell me what happened with your ex? Only if you want to. Noel didn't demand. She offered space. So I told her the truth. I used to think love meant proving you cared the right way, texting the right amount, asking the right questions, staying calm enough to not be punished. Now I know love isn't being tolerated. Love is being wanted. A month later, my clinic offered me a lead role, better schedule, a small raise, the kind of promotion you can only take when your personal life isn't on fire. I took it, and the weirdest part, I didn't feel guilty about being happy. That's what toxic love does. It trains you to think peace is selfish, like you're abandoning your duty if you stop chasing the person who keeps pulling away. Brielle wanted me anxious. She wanted me guessing. She wanted me chasing her approval like it was oxygen. The moment I stopped chasing, she panicked, not because she loved me, but because she lost control of the story. So here's what I'd tell anyone stuck where I was if someone calls basic care needy. They're not asking for independence. They're asking for power. Real love doesn't need flying monkeys, surprise visits, fake emergencies, or threats. Real love feels like an exhale. It feels like someone texting back because they want to, not because they're testing you. It feels like being safe, not managed. If they hand you an ultimatum like it's a leash, take it off, hand it back, and walk away. If you've ever been called too much for simply caring, tell me what happened in the comments, or tell me if you think I handled this right. If you know someone who needs this reminder, share this story with them. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss the next one.